let's get started again. Let us know what you thought of the newest episode of Invincible in the chat, and we will respond to every comment, by the way. So leave all your thoughts. And Brantley, let's get into spoilers, man. What did you think? So actually, I want to let's kind of combine the last two episodes because we didn't get to talk about last week's episode. Time didn't permit. I was watching Daredevil. You were watching Mickey 17. Um,
Exactly.
what did you think? What did you think of that original episode with Aaron Paul's character?
See, I'm conflicted because I thought the episode was. I like the story I was being told, but I just think that like I don't know. Just at this point, like I think we keep bringing this up, but it's like it's an 8 episode season. I just like episode itself didn't feel like that impactful. You know what I mean? And even though he is like in like the next episode as well, but like I don't know. Still, I was like, this is a good story. I just feel like it just I don't know. To me, it's like I just how much is really gonna play into like the overall larger story. And it's like, I get like
Listen,
we can have like these smaller stories like that, and this story was good, but it's just like we were like we're in the second half of the season. Like it's only 2 more episodes after this one. Like at the time, so it's just like I don't know.
I will say that's really funny because if I'm not mistaken, I was the first one that brought that complaint up like three
Yeah,
podcast episodes ago. And this to me is the perfect definition of how you use one of those like random ass side storyline comic characters perfectly. I really loved it actually.
that is true. That is true. I think this is like the best of like those types of like so far.
Yeah, like this is exactly how
Oh,
you create impact. You know what I mean? Off of a random side character. For me, the reason why this episode works so much, and I definitely have that general complaint of the episode of like, okay, we had 3 episodes left at that point. Why are we not moving with some sense of urgency? Where is Omni Man and Alan? Remember we talked about that after like the third
I don't
episode.
think
We were
they're gonna
like,
do that for the rest of the season at this point,
dude,
bro.
they just I honestly think that like, I mean, I we'll get into it later, but I think Omni Man will end up coming in the finale because of Conquest. Remember, because Conquest is at the end of the newest episode, and so I think like
Yeah,
there's no way Mark can fight Conquest on his own. There's just no way.
I
And
see. I don't know what
so
happens to the comics, but
I don't know what happens in the comics either.
like off the journal, like I think I don't know the theme of the show. I just assumed that Conquest is gonna beat Mark's ass. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Well,
next episode.
I'm thinking that too, but I think by the end, Omni Man will show up and save him because like
Really?
Invincible can't die. Like I don't think Invincible's not gonna die.
But yeah, he's not gonna die, but like I don't know. I just feel that would be a little like I don't know. It just feels like too like cliche for the show. I feel like Omni Man is coming back and like saving Invincible. Like,
Yeah.
but I think that would be interesting. Though. I mean, I definitely want to see Omni Man and Alan like at least one more time before the end of this season.
I hope
But
so. I hope they're in the finale for sure. I will say no. So the reason I really liked Aaron Paul's characters, first of all, it is the best voice acting we've seen in the entire series, in my
for
opinion.
sure,
Like it
for
is
sure.
easily like this guy is out acting everyone, and they're spending so much more on voice acting than animation, and this is the only time, in my opinion, where it feels like it's been worth it, honestly. Um, but I think the reason why it works so well is because it makes the idea that Mark is starting to actually feel guilty for the deaths and like that that to me is the most interesting the show has ever been up to this point. Like there is off correct me if I'm wrong, but honestly there has not been a single thing in all of Invincible that is like on a thematic level as interesting as the moral dilemma that Mark has in these last 2 episodes for me. Um
But
like
definitely.
even the Viltrumite, like, should I take over the planet or not? Like, obviously no. You know what I mean? There's not like
Yeah.
a super interesting
Not
like
like yeah.
yeah, there's not a dilemma there. This is really an internal struggle between Mark, which I absolutely loved. Um, did you have any other thoughts on that on episode 6 before we get into episode 7?
Not too much. But I will say now we're talking about it. I do think as a pair, these episodes do work really well because I do
Mhm.
like think because like the themes there, like the ideas in that episode with 6 were really built upon well in 7, and I like how so far like talking about just like the themes, like I like how they're not really like as a viewer, like you're even like Mark himself, they're not really giving you I don't know some kind of like escape from it. Like there's no like solution. Like it's like he
Yeah,
feels
it just
bad
happens. Like you
and
already
like
yeah.
yeah, it actually like I mean, from my opinion, like, some of it is his fault to some degree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I like how the show, like, even though Eve was telling him things, like, and that kind of calmed his nerves a little bit. But then, like, we see in this episode, episode 7, we kind of see like that guilt kind of return, and he's like, "Damn, like, it really is like no like way to really be
There's
like
no
fully
winning.
this." Yeah,
100% agree. Yeah. I think the Chicago Memorial was an insane pull. Like I was not expecting that at all. I don't know if that's a thing in the comics, but it works so well. I don't know. I think it's the way that they're able to be like, oh, Mark is actually feeling guilty.
Yeah,
And then the next episode, there's like 20 Marks that come and destroy the entire planet.
yeah,
Like perfect pairing. I will say, I wish Invincible did kind of test with different episodic formats because Daredevil Born Again is doing 2 episode premiere, then weekly episodes, and then mid season. So 5 and 6 are going to be a pair, and then it's one a week. These two being a pair would have been really interesting to me, like seeing them back to back if they weren't the final 2 episodes. And I will say, episode 7, the most recent episode, the penultimate episode of the season, felt like a finale in my opinion. Like it truly felt like the
oh, yeah.
end.
No, this
Like
episode, yeah, no, this felt like
it,
a like, either
it
way. It's like this is like a very finale.
I was like halfway through the episode and I was like, oh, we're like definitely like we're almost done with it. You know what I mean? It's definitely over. And there's
Yeah,
still like 30 minutes left. So I don't know. I absolutely loved it. Getting into the newest episode, what did you think of Invincible War, man? I feel like this is something that's been really just like slowly built up with Angstrom Levy, but I don't know. I feel like the Mark or I feel like the Angstrom Levy part of it was pretty underwhelming. Like the Mark part of it was really cool to me, but like Angstrom Levy, I don't give a shit about him to be completely honest.
yeah. No, I felt like the actual like the main like war part was pretty cool. I wish we saw a little bit more. I guess of Mark like interacting with the other Marks stuff like that and kind of fighting them. I thought the fight with Eve was
Mhm.
really good. And, like Omni
Yeah,
Mark and
that
stuff.
was
Like
crazy.
that was like Omni Mark is a demon, bro. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was super sick. I think stuff with Answer Levy was interesting, but yeah, like you said, I think it was a bit underwhelming because like I just don't know. I mean, I get like why he came back and like this whole kind of Invincible like war plot, but yeah, it didn't like even like them like when they were fighting again, like it didn't really feel like this big like culmination, like big like return to me. Like
I
oh like
kind of felt like it was like cool, like this is another big plot point, but like
yeah
we're at the end of the day, we're just trying to get to the Viltrumites coming to Earth. You know what I mean? Like we're just
yeah
like this other storyline is way more interesting and gets way more time to be built up than this does. And so this kind of just feels like a side thing that only like this could have been 2 episodes long. Um and I would have enjoyed it honestly. Like I would have liked it to be a little slower. I would have liked to see more versions of Mark. But I will say, I guess
yeah.
it was in 1 episode, so that's what we got. But I like the animation in this one a lot more. Like it this is the best the show's looked in my opinion. Like
Oh for sure. I
this
was wondering was
episode.
I thinking or like
Dude,
uh,
it is amazing. It looks so
like
good.
it's always been like this, and I've just like been like too hard on the show. Or, like did they actually like cook up for this one episode? Like
No,
because
it's
this
usually
is
looks like shit. But
crazy. Yeah,
like
I'm like this difference like this is crazy to me.
the Angstrom and Mark fight at the end was insane. That shit was so raw.
Yeah,
I episodes like this make me be like, where is this? You know what I mean? Like why did we get this? Bro, we have not got an episode, in my opinion, this good. Like full episode, full like 50-minute episode this good since like season two or season one. Season one finale, in my opinion.
dang. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think it's like I
No,
like the
you can't name a single episode in season two, guarantee. And there's not a single episode in season three so
I
far.
think
That for
season
the entirety
one.
of the runtime, that is amazing.
That's true for the whole runtime, I guess.
Like the Alan and
This
Omni Man stuff is so cool, but that's like 20 minutes, not even.
I do like the episodes early on in the season. Like episodes like I think the first episode
Oh
was
yeah, the first,
strong.
yeah.
I think episode one of season three is really strong. I think this one was good, but like I said, I think like just the war part to me, like especially I saw people talking about it like on Twitter before I watched the episode. It just was a little like underwhelming to me. I was like, oh, like this is only like half the episode, and like I don't know, like it was still really cool to watch. It's definitely like in the higher tier of Invincible episodes for sure, probably like top three for sure, like definitely. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
Arpit said, yeah, I was gonna binge Born Again in one go until someone told me it'll be weekly after the first 2 episodes. I honestly think hot take, Invincible might be better on binge, bro. Like honest, because I don't really think they're giving us weekly content. Like they're not really giving us enough weekly, like really they're not. Other
I
than like
actually
maybe 1 or 2 episodes.
agree with
Like,
you, low key. I think like even I'm not a super big fan of like full on seasons. I do like the week to week format. I think with like the way Invincible like usually structures like their stories, even
yeah.
for the week to week format, it's not like like a see what happens next week type of thing sometimes. Like,
Yeah, it's
you
always individual stories, and
like
then they might just go to some random shit the next
literally,
episode.
and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So it's like, what's really like the draw to keep me coming back versus like, so it's like, yeah, I actually look at agree. I think a different format, like how you mentioned, could benefit Invincible for sure.
I
I
will say
mean,
when I watched Born Again though, I binged it. So I saw all 9 episodes, and I think it works way better as a weekly. Like in my opinion, like it's so it
yeah,
like every week there are plot points and there are storylines that continue over. They pick up almost exactly where they left off in almost every single episode. There's maybe 1 or 2 episodes where the plot, like literally the second to like the penultimate and the finale for Daredevil Born Again, like they overlap. Like the beginning of the finale takes place a little bit before the end of the episode before. It just recontextualizes stuff. It is so great. And Invincible never does that in my opinion at all whatsoever. Like it just I don't know.
I think there's so much in this world and stuff. I mean, I can only imagine how much that's probably being cut out of the like the
Mhm.
comics and whatnot for to fit in here. That's why I think like ideally, like in a perfect world. I mean, obviously, I think animation would look a lot different. The budget might be a little bit lower. I think in the perfect world, this show would be best as like just a cartoon, like a 22 episode, like 30-minute cartoon like
Oh,
series.
yeah.
I feel like that's like the ideal like format for how much they want to actually touch on and cover. Like I just feel like like that's like the best way like for this show to go. Like
Yeah, give me some spectacular
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something
spectacular
like yeah,
Spider-Man type of thing would be cool, yeah.
that's like it really hit on like a good amount, and it's like I don't know. I think each week wouldn't be so much pressure on each week either. Like each episode, like when you have
Yeah,
so
and
much.
then also the fact that we had to wait like 70 years between seasons, and
Yeah,
then they gave us a hiatus in the middle of last season, which is wicked. But yeah, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up? I mean, Conquest obviously next episode.
dude.
Viltrumites are coming to
So
Earth. I'm excited. I'm so excited, but it's like, okay,
yeah,
cool. Like I don't know. Like it's like they've built up to like okay, just to, like it. Tell me if my memory is serving me wrong. Invincible War was starting to be set up in episode 1 of season 2, where remember we see like that evil version of Mark and like that like a destroyed version
yeah,
of Earth, and they use that in the trailers to make us think like, oh shit, Mark destroyed Earth, the Viltrumites are coming, blah blah blah, and it's just
yeah.
an alternate version. That's the first time we get it set up ever, and it took us until the end of season 3 to get Invincible War, and now they're doing the Viltrumite War back to back. Like I get it, it works as motivation for Mark, but it's not like interesting enough in my opinion. It's not built up enough over an exacting amount of time.
Yeah, I think it's like the weird thing with the show where it's like it's kind of taking certain aspects like I think it's kind of like playing on like people that haven't read the comics, like their kind of like like view on the show because apparently people that read
Yeah.
comics, it's not even a big thing in the comics. It's like very short. It's not like this
Oh,
huge event kind of thing. But the show markets it like it's gonna be this huge event kind of thing. And then it's
yeah.
like it's kind of this weird like I don't know like disconnect between like the marketing of how the show's like because obviously the show wants people to watch it, so they're gonna make it this big thing versus like what's actually being like written in the source material. So I feel like that's like the
Yeah.
interesting
I
thing
didn't
with the
know
show.
that. Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
apparently
sense
Invincible War
actually.
is not like that big of a deal in the comics. It's not this huge like event from what people are saying. Like
That
how the
seems like it
show
would be way cooler. It's like literal I don't know. That's sick to me. Like I wish we had gotten one full episode of just like the world trying to stop
yeah,
20
I
Marks.
really
Like
want
that's
to
the
see that.
coolest thing ever, bro.
I'm like, bro, like we literally has like 20 minutes of this, bro. I'm like,
I will say
man,
the way they do it though, like for speed running it, they do it pretty well. Like the
oh, for
match
sure.
cuts between all the marks, like it
That
is
was hard.
executed as well as possible. Yeah. Where they're like he's like floating and you just see like 3
Yeah,
different settings and they do his
that
face
was
and they do
hard.
3 different settings. It was cool. Like that's how you take advantage of the animation medium in my opinion. But they don't really do it that often. They literally only did it this episode. Um but oh, I will say also the end of episode 6 with the Aaron Paul character, dude, when he killed his wife and kid, that shit got me. Like I was
Oh,
like, "Oh my." I was like, "This show is gory, but it's never like gut-wrenching, a
yeah,
heart like, you know what I mean? Like yeah, it's I don't know. This shit is crazy. I'm very like I was so taken aback by it. And then obviously final thing to talk about here, Rex explode, bro. Our boy, he's dead. He's
dude.
gone, bro. I called it.
Oh,
I literally called it like first pod episode when we talked about Invincible, bro. Rexplode is dead. He's a goner, but he's a G, bro. Dude, my
bro.
skeleton, dickhead. Greatest line of all time, bro. Like that shit was
Yeah,
so
no, I
fire.
think we saw it coming. Like, I mean, his redemption arc was good. I think like this was like definitely like the obvious like in outcome for him. Like
Yeah.
life is going too well for bro. Like it had to happen.
Yeah, they just couldn't let him be happy. But yeah, any thoughts to wrap up Invincible discussion before we get into Daredevil Born Again?
You know, I'm just gonna say it. I know people love this show.
Oh
I
no.
think I enjoy the show a good amount, but dude, like this show is low key like
I think
fraud.
it's
Watch.
overrated.
They run the same script every season, bro. Strong start, mid ass middle section, and then some cool shit right at the end to get you excited
And
for the
then they
next.
build up and they build up, and then the next season they don't even execute on it. They just give us some bullshit side storyline. And from time to time, they do land on something that's slightly interesting. Like I thought the planet where Omni Man goes to in season 2, that's not bad. Works for Mark's
Yeah,
redemption arc with his dad. Here, the stuff with Aaron Paul's character works enough for trying to create a thematic divide. But if you're gonna still have shitty animation, at least give us a story that's interesting every single week,
mm,
guaranteed.
like
Pick your poison, dude. You just got, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, you gotta do it one way or another, in my
I think it's
opinion.
just too like it's an enjoyable show, but I just think it's too many like glaring like flaws to like really for me to at least put it up there as like this like amazing piece of like superhero like media like or at least show wise.
I
Um,
think, I will say, I think as a like looking at it from a comic perspective of like when you look at like Winter Soldier or like Infinity War, where like huge groups of characters are coming together and trying to fit it all into one piece of media. I do think that this is one of the better possible adaptations of this show. Like I don't, honest to God, as many problems as I have with it, but as hype as I get after every episode,
yeah,
I'm like they are doing the best possible job. This world is just so fucking expansive. And I think it's the
that's
fact that Robert Kirkman is so closely tied to this series that makes it actually work. But I think honestly, I think it's just too much. Like I think there's no way to make this work in every possible way, whether it's for comic fans or fans of just the series. Um, I also think you and I put a lot of weight on every individual episode because we've been watching since literally the first 3 episodes premiered. You know what I mean? Like we've been watching week to week. We waited like 2 years between the
yeah,
first 2 seasons. We found out that they were doing a hiatus midway through season 2. And then after season 2, they didn't even give us a release date for season 3 until like months and months after. So I honestly think we're just in a separate boat than most people are because I feel like honestly most people waited till like midway through season 1 or the end of season 1 to kind of like I did not see much discussion about that finale until after the fact. You know what I mean?
oh, for sure, for
Um
sure. You know,
like
I think the
I think
finale starts happening.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's really what pulled people in. Seeing clips of that, screenshots of that on Twitter, like what the fuck is this show? We got to tap in. But
yeah,
being there from the beginning, dude, it's a little underwhelming. I guess the route that this show has taken.
yeah. It's like with 8 episodes, bro. Like I feel like
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like the pressure is justified though for each episode. Like, bro, you only got 8 episodes like per season.
yeah.
Each week,
Arpit said, when I'm watching Invincible, I can't believe Robert Kirkman went from Walking Dead to Invincible. I kind of see it though. Like, I kind of like, I wish that Robert Kirkman had taken the Walking Dead model of like this big expansive world. Because when you put the basics together, it's kind of a similar thing where, again, super expansive world, a lot of different characters, different locations and places to explore. But they do it over like a TV season. You know what I mean? Like this was airing on AMC Plus. So
yeah, yeah.
like if Invincible had this, which obviously they just couldn't take the risk. I feel like originally because it's a rated like TVMA like hard R show. Like it is very brutal, very gory. On Prime, obviously the boys are successful, but this is animated, so I don't know. I wish they'd kind of taken a different swing at it. But yeah. Anything else before we move on to Daredevil?
I think that's it, man. I'm excited to see how the season closes out, though. So, like Conquest, I know people have been hyping up Conquest since season 1, bro. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see what they do with, bro.